Second Age, when the elves forged the rings of power, Sauron secretly crafted the one ring that could control the others and give him dominion over all of Middle-earth. Raising an enormous army, Sauron's campaign of conquest ravaged the land until elves and men banded together to face him, and the human king Isildur broke Sauron's power by severing the one ring from his finger.
Hiya, freaks and ghouls, slashers and psychopaths, scaredy cats and scaredy dogs. I'm your horror host with the motherfucking most, the Headless Glen, and welcome to Graveyard Grumblings, where I talk about whatever the fuck I want. So the next death battle has been announced, Sauron versus the Lich King, and while neither franchise is something I'm huge in, I thought I might as well talk about something I think people might find interesting in regards to Sauron. Now, if you're looking for book scaling, I'll link a video by another YouTuber by the name of Nemesis, who has a 2-hour plus video going over both combatants in full. But if you want to hear about the potentially strongest version of the character and his insane scaling, well, I would buckle up. If you have watched my Master Chief or Arrow video, you know where this is going. But it's time once again I bring up the insane crossover game of HeroClix. HeroClix is a tabletop miniatures game that includes mostly DC and Marvel, but has a few crossover sets, such as for the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit films. And when using the Golden Age rules, all sets can be used together in tandem, thus giving us the ability to scale everyone to each other, albeit with some caveats. Mainly what I use to scale the characters is point values, which isn't always the most accurate given sometimes characters have broken abilities rather than broken stats. But I couple that with their printed stat values to give us a bit of a better understanding of if they should scale. And man, Sauron is likely the strongest HeroClix character I've covered so far. To cut to the chase, Sauron with his whopping 335 point value should have high-end 5th dimensional power, as he scales massively above both versions of a composed Mixie, who is stated to be 5th dimensional, as well as above Emperor Joker, who is stated to have all of Mixie's power but minus the restraint, which explains why he is more points despite Mixie possessing the same abilities. This means Sauron is immensely powerful, and if he is anything like Joker or Mixie, he could accidentally destroy the universe if he wasn't careful, which should be understandable for a 5th dimensional being. As for speed, while Sauron's movement speed is likely unknown, his combat and reaction speeds should be immeasurable, as he's able to tag characters like Zoom, who can fight while moving up and down the timeline, Professor Zoom, who can move backwards in time, and Silver Surfer, who can outrun a time loop. This means, theoretically, Sauron could be fighting you and hit you yesterday, as crazy as that sounds. Now, Sauron has a lot of abilities, so I'll just go through them rapid fire. With Dark Spectre of Dal Guldur, Sauron can make any target unable to do any action other than move. With Servant of Morgoth, Sauron can steal an opponent's energy if accompanied by Nazgul. With Frozen with Fear, Sauron can make any target unable to move or use certain abilities. With Shadow over the Free Lands, the Shadow across the land, and Unstoppable, Sauron has the ability to phase or teleport. With the true Lord of the Rings and one ring to rule them all, Sauron can produce a massive pulse of destructive power. With Fearsome Presence and Mighty Flail, Sauron can create an effect similar to an earthquake. With Undying Spirit, Sauron can steal the energy of others to heal himself. With spectral form, Sauron can negate durability negation and reduce damage even from durability negating abilities. With Lord of Mordor and Dark Lord of Mordor, Sauron can reduce damage dealt to him, and even has the chance to ignore all conventional damage dealt to him. With the resilience of Shadow and the power of the ring cannot be undone, Sauron can reduce damage dealt to him. With Ring of Power, Sauron's abilities are unable to be nullified even by characters vastly more powerful than himself, and can use power nullification, can negate durability, and can use stat amplification, damage amplification, and stat reduction. With Swordbreaker and the enemy, Sauron can use power nullification normally. With Necromantic Strike, Sauron can ignore durability, and with the Mystic's ability, damaging Sauron will actually damage the attacker, with said damage being unable to be reduced. So yeah, the Dark Lord of Mordor has a lot of abilities and some crazy strong stats. This potentially might be enough to take down pretty powerful fictional characters. Going through the characters on my channel, Sauron would beat Eyeless Jack, who is fodder. Characters who surpass their own fictional existence, like Sweeney Todd, Chucky, and the Hungry Caterpillar. King Homer, who scales above Bart Simpson, who can manipulate the universe. And a lowballed Godzilla from Godzilla in Hell, who is still in the multiverses of ranges at his lowest. So yeah, pretty crazy scaling in my opinion. Will the Death Battle group bring any of this up? Definitely not. I'm the only one who cares about hero clicks in this context. But now you know about one of the strongest versions of Sauron, if not the strongest. So with all that said, stay frosty, you fucks.